Is it now? There. Don't hit the bottom of the microphone. It turns it off. I'm Dave Tickerson with the Henry Madden Library, and very pleased that we were able to sponsor for this year's Diversity Week our panel on women entrepreneurs. And I think we have an excellent group of women entrepreneurs who are going to be sharing their stories with us, and moderated by Dr. Tim Stearns from the Lyles Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Before we start with the panel, I want to thank a few people for making this possible. First of all, the Craig School, which has helped fund our event tonight, and the Lyles Center for being a contributor to it, and especially the library. We have a team of people who are working on service to the Craig School of Business that's led by Hiromi Kubo, who has done an excellent job of organizing this. Also want to thank the other members, Gretchen Higginbottom, Xiaoming Yang is he here? Okay. He's teaching his class, and Vang Vang and Marcus are going to be doing the videotaping for us tonight, so thank you. Okay. So for students, this is an opportunity for you to meet real people who have succeeded in their businesses. For those of you who came from off campus, I give you extra credit because you not only made it here, you navigated the whole parking thing, so congratulations on that. And now, without further ado, Dr. Tim Stearns.
Thank you, Dave. And as Dave said, I'm Tim Stearns with the Lyles Center, and I'm very pleased to have been asked to come and moderate the panel. So our focus is going to be on the presenters tonight, because I think we have a lot of interesting ground to cover. And I'm going to start with introductions, and we're going to go all the way down to May at the end. And if you could provide us with a little bit of your background, and we'll just move on down the line.
Good evening. And thank you to the college for this invitation tonight. But I must share with you that I had a lot of anguish about this appearance tonight. I believe the college sent me a note asking me to appear 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I just kept not responding. So the other night, about a week ago, you'll see I have a blank picture there because I didn't get that far. The other night, about a week ago, I was lying in bed and watching the Oprah show. And she was sharing something of the nature that God has given all of us special talents, and that we are all blessed in some way, and that we have an obligation to share those blessings with the human race, with other mankind. So I thought, well, maybe the Lord is saying to me, you answered that email. So the next morning, I called in and said I would do it. And I'm glad that I did. So let me give you a little bit of my background. I have been in the business world in about, I guess, 10 different endeavors, all sort of related, for the past 55 years. When I started Fresno State, it was then on the campus where Fresno City College is now. This was Grapefield, and all of it feels out here. So I've been on this journey a long time. I graduated from Fresno State with a master's degree here in counseling and guidance, with the master's degree from Pepperdine in business administration. And during the time I was in college, I was pursuing business endeavors with my sisters. The real pioneer, who is sitting over in the corner today, Lavera, was sort of the genesis of my existence. I called her, you know, Bush has a brain. Well, that's May's brain. So for that, I thank you, Lavera. So I've been involved in a number of business ventures. Presently, I'm the CEO of Quality Group Homes, which has offices at different enterprises from Sacramento to Bakersfield. We go into 19 prisons in the state of California, sending therapists in. We do all of the mental health treatment for Sacramento County for children coming into the juvenile justice system. We have a contract with the state of California to do a private program for the evaluation of the entire residential care kind of system. And we house in Sacramento a number of prisoners who are have mental deficiencies. So under our various umbrellas, we have 300 plus employees. So that's a lot of problems, a lot of management. The human services field is different, as you will all know. Almost every person that you encounter is almost a business in itself. So when I started business, there was no such thing as TVs, internets, fax machines. In fact, we were one of the first families on our block to get a telephone, which was a 5 or 6 party line. You probably don't even know what I'm talking about. So it's been a long journey. And the amazing part about it is I've enjoyed every moment of it. If I had a hobby, I would be doing what I'm doing. Thank you.
Good evening. Can you hear me? My name is Suzanne Moreno, and I am the founding CEO of Encourage Tomorrow, as well as a few other businesses. I've been working with this program. I started it back in 1994 as a pilot project to help young Latinas stay in school and go on to graduate. So it started with 15 students, and now we are a statewide project, and we serve over 3,500 children and families throughout the state with a wide range of programs. But I'm really excited to be here, and I said yes almost right away because I'm a graduate here in the business department, and I really feel that that really helped me get started. It's a really good program. It was when we first opened the building there here on campus, the business department, so that's a long time for me to know all of you. I think it's an old building by now, but it's been a couple of years. And I started this organization because I was a reentry student. I was going back to school, and I had my children with me, and I decided to give back to the community. So Encourage Tomorrow is a nonprofit organization, and you'll find that there's different avenues that you can pursue with different business ventures. So I think we'll get into that later, but the one that I started was a community-based organization. And actually my daughter started it with me, and I'm very surprised because she just graduated from UCSB, and she surprised me and just showed up right now. So I'm like, she's one of the co-founders. Lauren, can you just wave a little bit? She's over there, as well as my mom. So it's a family program, and it's been growing. I'm really excited because we've made an impact on thousands of children and families throughout. We have one program here at Fresno State, and it's called Kids Turn. And what we do is it's for children going through divorce and separation. And we actually have internships for a lot of students here. We also hire a lot of students. So keep us in mind.
I'm Zari Karimi. I'm a professor at Fresno State. Can you guys hear me? Okay. I can talk loud. I don't need a microphone. And I teach operations management at business school. I'm not a business owner, but I do provide skill sets for entrepreneurs, especially for women, to start their business, whether it's the time management, sales and negotiation skills, as well as operations management, plus launching their business and putting it into a plan so they can actually follow through it. So thank you for having me.
president and founder of PDQ LLC. PDQ stands for Pão de Queijo. So mark that word, Tim Stern is gonna ask in the test if you know what Pão de Queijo, PDQ means. Pão de Queijo is a word that pão means bread and queijo means cheese. So basically it's cheese bread in Portuguese Brazilian. So I am the I created a company that manufactures a Brazilian-inspired cheese bread. So it's this little dough ball of tapioca-based cheese bread. So because tapioca is gluten-free. And we sell them frozen in jars for you to take home and bake them yourself. We also sell them in cases, so restaurants can buy them and incorporate it on their menu. And we also have a storefront where it's across Fresno High, Echo and Weldon. Please stay there. Stop by and visit us. We have boba tea, coffee. We also have soups. We're gonna have salads. But my journey to PDQ, it started a long time ago. I have engineering degree, a food processing engineering degree. And I've been working in the food industry since I graduated. And then from there, so I've been selling packaging basically for the food industry, for the Fortune 400 companies, 500 Fortune companies. So that gave me a very broad background of understanding how the manufacturing world works, as well as how to negotiate, having that skill sets that Professor Zara just talked about it. So then I decided to go to my MBA. I felt I have everything I needed except for one thing. I didn't know the finance world. And I thought to myself, if I ever want to have my own business, I have to understand the rule of the game, right? So if you want to be a good athlete, you gotta go and learn the rules of the game so you know how to score it, right? So that's why I went to the MBA program here at Craig School. It was the best decision in my life, and they still have the entrepreneurship program, and that's what I did. PDQ was born here, so it wasn't PDQ at the time, it was Casa de Pão, and one of the entrepreneurship classes was to write, the task was to write a business plan. So I wrote a business plan about Casa de Pão that eventually became PDQ. And then that's when I started to, that inspired me to start to formulate my own recipe. 7 years later, in the first Fresno Food Expo, I launched my business there, and it was a surreal experience because it was me, the PDQs, and people asking me, where can I buy them? I'm like, I'll go back to you, I'll come back to you. So it was a test market, it was a real live test market. I had 3,000 people that day saying, we love it, I want to buy it, and then that's what led me to really seek for investors and capital to be where I am today. So today I have a co-packer. We can make 10 million PDQs a year. So please eat PDQs. We have a lot of to sell. And I'm about to close good deals pretty soon. So that's my story.
Actually, when she was talking about the party lines, the phone party lines, I'm probably one of the ones that does remember that. My name is Irma Rico. Most people want to call me Irma. Drives me nuts, so I just go by Rico. So do not call me Irma. Irma. I come from a family of 8 migrant workers, and when I talk about the success in with no plan to do whatever I have done or accomplished today. I started out picking peaches, plums, nectarines, whatever they grow, I would pick it. I got out of that and I went into the television business. At that time it was SIN, it was not Univision. I thought it stood for sin, but it wasn't. So I joined it anyway. It was Spanish International Network. I stayed with the Univision for quite a few years. One of the things that I found and that I advise a lot of the people that ask me for advice, especially women, is how do I get from here to there? And one of the things that I find that most of us have is this comfort zone about not wanting to take a chance and get out of your environment. You know, what am I going to do? My family's not going to be with me. My friends are not going to be with me. I've got to leave the boyfriend behind or the girlfriend behind. And sometimes you have to make some sacrifices. And those are some of the things that I had to do. In order to succeed, sometimes you have to make some sacrifices. But if you have the passion to do those things, then, you know, you got to take a chance. So the television business, I went from Fresno. Actually, I started television, I was Vanna Brown before she was Vanna White. I started doing commercials. And that got me into sales. Sales got me into management. Management got me to move to Providence, Rhode Island. And California to Rhode Island, I'm thinking I'm going to be doing margaritas, pina coladas. It was a wrong island. It was not So I'm in Rhode Island, freezing my, you know what. So I'm in Rhode Island, and I spent 5 years there. From Rhode Island, I went to Dallas. From Dallas, I went to Denver. And each time that I moved from, in the television business, they call it market. I went from market to market. I went to a bigger market. So it was always a different challenge, a different position. Meanwhile, I was contacted by a group of guys that wanted to target the Hispanic market and grow their own network. That sort of the television version or the Spanish version of Univision, but going to the smaller markets. So we created Entrepreneurship. We took that company public back in 2000. I had to keep my shares for a few months before I was able to sell it. I sold some of my shares, and meanwhile, I had the opportunity to buy Weber BMW. So that brought me back to Fresno. And one of the things that I always think about is when you take a chance to leave the neighborhood, you can always come back. You can always come back. So you need to just, you know, take your chances and move. Go. If you fail, guess what? You pick yourself up and do it again. There's nothing wrong with that. How many times do you have to fail to succeed? It's up to you. You just have to keep trying. So fast forward, the Weber BMW, at one point we had over 90 employees. The economy went down, car sales went down. We kept trying to keep as much of the staff as possible. It went from growing Weber BMW from downtown where they were selling, the Weber family were selling 25, 27 cars, to moving to Palm and Herndon and selling 100 cars. So in that version, you sometimes talk about location. It's very important. So location is one thing that I was emphasizing about businesses, and the other is money. You gotta have both. And sometimes money is better than location because that pays for the location. Anyway, I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to answer some questions when we get to that point. Thank you very much.
Can you guys see me okay? Okay. I don't have a lot of experience with this mic thing, but okay. Well, my name is Jane. When I got invited to this panel, I thought
start thinking, many of those business owners, if not 99%, they probably never thought of themselves as entrepreneur. A farmer doesn't say, I'm going to get up and be an entrepreneur. No, the farmer just thought, I need to get the field waked up and plant something so that I can generate revenue. So I think there's a lot of entrepreneurial qualities all over the place, and it's just for us to know this. I don't want to give you a long history of my life here, but I was born and raised in Hong Kong, and I never thought I wanted to become a CPA. I never thought I would open up my business. So that tells you you can only plan so much, and have never heard of Fresno until I moved here. So what happened was, when I finished doing my college degree, I have decided that I think I need some more business background. And my degree was in classical music and English. So think about picking the right field. So I came here to San Jose State, got my MBA. I had little or no experience. So finding a job when I moved to Fresno, it was really tough. You're too overqualified, but you're not qualified. So finally, I decided that, fast forward a couple of more years, I decided that I wanted to become an accountant. So I'm one of those people, or accountants, who doesn't have an accounting degree. And because of my MBA, I took some classes, passed the exam, and I cold called the whole institution. If you have accounting students here, you know how hard it is to get into the on-campus interview. So I thought, heck, I'm just going to call them. So I looked at the phone number, got an interview. So that's my path, become a CPA. And that was some of the best years of my career, because you learn so many things in a very, it's like on steroid. And 50 hours is considered normal time, per week you work. So that's kind of different. Well, but I worked there for several years, and eventually I thought, okay, enough travel. So I moved to what they call private accounting. But it just happened that I worked for, at different times, 2 separate Fortune 500 companies, and they happened to open up new companies in Fresno, or new branch. And that was really, again, a huge learning experience, because I get to see from an auditor's perspective, and then I learned to become a CFO. And one of the companies, our annual revenue was like $160 million a year, and I got $1 million in my SG&A every month. So if they don't spend enough marketing money, I would say, you only spend $100,000, we need you to spend more. So that's the dynamics of it. That's when the housing market was really good, but as the housing market, as the market went down, they had to close out the division. And I actually got an offer 6 months ago to work for another CPA firm to develop the accounting practice. So I thought, okay, I can do that. That's when things started happening. I never thought I would become, a business owner. But at the time, I just thought, they're giving me the resources. They're not giving me direction what I should do. I was just given the resources. So I thought, I can do it on my own. And I think it's like a gut feeling, plus certain amounts of confidence, but I think the gut feeling comes first. I was on a Boy Scout trip to that, what was that, USS Hornet. So as I was got into the car and a long drive there, I just thought, heck, I'll start my business tomorrow. So that's how I decided, and we started just at home, which is really nice as a service professional. You don't have to get a big, building or investment. And a few years later, we actually moved into a building that our company owned. So I would say my company is still in a very early infancy, but I see it as every step of the way. I enjoy many of the things we do, and I see a lot of potential to expand. If you guys heard of QuickBooks, which is like a really popular accounting software, my company just happened to be the only Intuit premium reseller in this whole valley. And we have not been leveraging on that, credential, but, things happen, it takes time. So I think I'm having fun right now. Love to share, ideas or, answer some questions.
Her best friend.
I know I already did.
Well, thank you, ladies. some insights from that, from your own experience or from others.
Well, I can take that question because one of the challenges that women have, and especially again, we go back to Latina women, is that the family or the thinking is that the man is the one that needs the education, and the man is going to be the one that's going to be supporting you. So therefore, he needs to have the education. And in that same line of thinking is that when a man is going to do a business, he gets the majority of the support from the family. But when the woman is going to start her own business, it's almost like, are you sure? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? What about the family? Who's going to cook the dinner? Who's going to take care of the kids? So I think that even though we have come a long way, we still have an uphill battle when it comes to women starting their own companies. And that's one of the reasons I think people still see the man as a breadwinner and the risk taker. And I think it's time that women start putting up their chonies and saying we can do it too.
In the Black community, I feel that it's pretty much the opposite. I believe it's the Black woman who steps forward with less fear first. I think our Black men want that stability because there has been so much uncertainty in the hiring and continuing to be employed, experience as it relates to our culture. I know my husband has been far more reluctant. It's like, why don't you stop? You're getting too old. This is enough, and on and on. So I think it's just the opposite. I know in my personal experience, you can't win if you're not prepared to lose. So it has not been a great leap for me to involve myself in various business ventures. And through surrounding myself with smart people and just being willing to take a chance, all in all, I believe we've been very successful beyond my wildest dreams.
For me, it was difficult too, the Latina experience, because no one believed in me. I was always put down in a sense, you know, like even my own grandmother said, why are you going on to college? You know, you're okay as a clerical worker, and you need to take care of your children. But I have a vision, passion, and a desire, and that's what it takes. And I wanted to share some statistics that I'm involved with a couple of Latina organizations, one statewide and one national. And I just got back from the statewide one, and they released this report on March 8th of 2013. And what it is I've been involved for a long time, and it's said that a lot of it has not changed. And that's why I'm so glad to see a lot of you young women here, because it has to change. But 1 in every 3 women in California are Latinas. The purchasing power of the Latinos in California is $265 billion. So that's a market right there. There are 70,627 workers employed by Latina small business owners. So we are increasing, but not enough yet. And then, though, this I got from the national one in December, but it's still the same. It hasn't changed. In 2010, Latinas earned 42 cents of every dollar, while the white non-Hispanic women earn 76 cents for every dollar by a white non-Hispanic man. Now we need to change that, and by being an entrepreneur and earning your own money, you can. So.
Well, I've been always thinking about which minority group I identify the most with in U.S. I now know. The Black minority. That's where I belong. Because from my background, at age 22, I had 2 bachelor's degrees and a master's degree, and moved here to make sure that my husband will have a stability in his business he wanted to open. But then I went to work full-time as a cosmetic to have Section 8 apartments because I thought that was hurting my ego. I have all these degrees. I don't want to go to Section 8 apartment, so I started working. So I identify with Black community. Now I know. And the reason I went to school that aggressively because I'm from Iran. I was born and raised in Iran. I moved to U.S. at age 14, and basically I needed to study in order to get the money from Iran. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to get money for my schooling, and I had to do well at school in order to get scholarship. So that's a great motivator to students, you know? I had a choice. Go to school and study hard aggressively, or go back to Iran. And in 1978, or 1979 actually, that was not a very pretty choice to make. So I stayed here, and I'm happy to be a U.S. citizen, and now I know where I belong.
I guess I am mixed bag. And then I am Japanese descent, so I have the Asian background.
I'm really confused.
Yeah. And I'm married to a Mexican, so I'm a world citizen. I guess to wrap to the end, I think women, I agree that men perhaps have more freedom to take or there is this mindset of taking risk. But I do believe that women are very more thorough when they take risk. And yes, I personally always worried about my family. You know, I have plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, you know, what happened when, and you know, and all of that. But I guess from my Brazilian background, I think in Brazil we are very entrepreneur, like whether we are men or women, I don't feel there is a gender difference there. But like I said, I think women is more thorough, men is more like, oh, it's close enough, let's go, you know, kind of deal. And then by Asian though, my upbringing, I'm the third generation immigrating somewhere, right? My grandparents immigrated to Brazil, then my parents went back and forth to Japan, and now I'm here, right? So there is a little bit on my family background, that idea of get a good job, you know, get a good job, and collect the pension, and then put your money in 401k, and get a good job, and you'll be fine. Which, that's true, you know. I have been working in corporate America for 20 years and have gone that path. Now, probably in another 15 years, I would probably retire, have a good pension and what have you. But that wasn't my calling. So I guess there is more, for me, it's more background difference versus gender difference, personally. But I do agree that women go for it, you know, just if you feel it, just do it. So
I guess I'm supposed to say something. I'm not sure. I think as far as taking risk from a Chinese background, my family, we always had business. We're in the Chinese medicine type of business. At one time, we had like 4 stores in the same little town. But I don't think I was ever expected to start a business. I think the expectation is for me to get a job as a teacher or a nurse, you know, something safe and valuable. The men, I think they expected to, you know, start something or take ownership of the store. So I think traditionally there is a little bit more expectation for the guy to do certain things, and I think because of that expectation, they kind of like, hey, we have to take that risk because that's what I'm expected to do. So I think that has a certain reason to it. But I think personality is another thing. I think over the years, my personality probably has, I guess I'm more Americanized now, and I never thought about starting a business or talking in front of people. But now I'm comfortable with it, so I think as you gain more knowledge and experience, your comfort level is going to change, and because that comfort level change, you might do something 10 years from now that you never thought about. I think for the people who want to start something, they just need to look inside themselves and say, can I afford this risk? What is my worst case scenario? And I think it's differ from person to person, from man to women. I mean, I don't think there's a general thing.
So let me ask this. The job market has changed quite a bit from the time when we were certainly was looking at job for stability. Entrepreneurship was oftentimes looked at for people who were unemployable. And by that, I mean, couldn't hold a job or whatever reasons, didn't obey authority well, or whatever that might be in there. But the market's changed quite a bit. How would you counsel a young person today in terms of making those choices, particularly, or what do you think is actually critical for them to think about if they're saying, I don't know whether I'll be an entrepreneur, I don't know if I want to go into the job market and weigh off the rewards between the two. What do you think is critical there? Particularly for young women, since we want to talk about the role.
In my own experience, what I know now that I didn't know X number of years ago was that a great deal of research, testing, thought needs to go into the profession that you're choosing for college to begin with. I don't know if we really know what our passion is when we're 17 or 18, although I believe some people do. My own experience was, I went through college, master's degree, started teaching, ended up teaching at Fresno City College, but it was never me. I remember clearly the first day I taught school, it was at Edison High School. All the kids were facing forward. I put my desk in the back of the room. I couldn't do it. I couldn't come to the front. So I spent 4 years training for something that was not my passion. In fact, it was my pain. So, and down through the years in developing the other businesses, I found my calling because it saddens me to think that I may have ended my life in front of a room, hating every moment of it. But during the course of my various business trials, I started working with kids. And I knew in high school that all the kids that the teachers hated were the ones that clung to me, that I was able to feel some bit of success with and for. Out of that grew the industry of residential care, foster care, and that kind of human service tree. And that's where I found my heart. I found my passion. I work pretty much 24/7, and it's not work for me. It's what I do. It's sort of who I am. So I would have said to a young girl then, find out what it is that your passion is, and that's what I say to you. Because if you love it, it ceases to be work. Now the research is all out there. Remember when I got this letter, the first question was, how do you develop a sound business? How do you develop sound business ideas? So I opened the computer and I logged in the exact question, and there must have been 1,000 articles. So I thought, so everybody sort of has a framework for that. It's tested. People know how to do that. Everybody, anybody, any website you open can tell you how to do that concrete stuff. That's the easy part of the business. The difficult part in my world has been managing people personalities, people's problems, and that whole realm of problems. Big problems solve themselves. It's those day-to-day problems that can drive you crazy.
How do you feel?
So my word to you would be to do a lot of testing yourself. Do a lot of things. Find where you think you belong. It might not be there, but you got to dream, because that's where reality is born. So I submit to you, find your passion.
I agree. I work sometimes 28 gigs, so I understand. So it seems that way at times. But one of the things I was going to say too is when you're finding your passion, if you have a particular interest, volunteer, do an internship, so that way you can experience it, because you might decide that that's not what you want at all, and you don't have to wait those 4 years, and then you can get credit here at school. And
The way she looks at me, the credit doesn't come that easy from my class, just so you know.
So those are good ways that you can do that, but like you were saying, you need to dream, you need to think big, and you need to decide what you want in life. Because yes, you can build multi-million-dollar corporations like most of us have and spend 28/8 or 24/7, or you can decide that you don't want such a large operation, and you could still be an entrepreneur and be independent. Because remember, you're creating your own passion, your own life, and you are in charge of it. Somebody else is not being the person that tells you, laying you off or telling you what to do or not to do, but you can create what you want. So it's really important to, explore all your options.
I think it's wonderful that you guys are going to be chasing your passion and your dream and really do what you love to do. But how many of you know what you love to do? We don't know. I think the way to learn, if you love what you want to do, is by practice, by experience. Keep trying it. I didn't mention exactly what I do. I'm a professor, but that's one of my full-time jobs. I do another job, and I have a full-time job. I'm a project director, and I implement software implementations for a Fortune 500 company, actually a Fortune 50 company. And I also do consulting and look at any businesses that need help with their process layout or facility layout to look at how we can make it more lean operation. And I see a couple of my students here, and they can attest to this. I always say, have a backup plan. Have a backup plan no matter what. Have multiple things working. You guys are young, you're energetic, go out there and do it, but have a backup plan. Do something else on top of it. Agree, Vinny and Aaron? These were my past students. They both are A students. So they don't have to just say something to get credit, right?
I'm just going to add to it. It's, I agree, it's passion, it is experience, and it is a lot of, desire. I think personally my journey to PBQ, it was about 3 different jobs. So I had to work for the corporate world, and today I do use the process that I have learned on the corporate world. And so everything, once you're an entrepreneur, you just are. It's like inside of you, it's in your DNA, and eventually it's gonna come out, it's gonna manifest somehow. The only addition I will give to the comments here is don't be attached to your own, for instance, don't be attached to what it should look like. Oh, it should look like this way, or like what success should look like, because sometimes we're so attached to what it should look like that we forget to enjoy the experience and see that the experience is giving you the benefits that you're looking for. So, if that makes sense. What I said, but I truly believe that for you young people there, make sure you embrace life and do the best that you can in every endeavor you're doing. And eventually you find your passion, and eventually the plan is it's going to come to you. And then it's a matter of taking action every single day and completing your plan, basically. So.
Well, with mine, I never planned to do I saw that as an opportunity. And one of the things that you have to continuously do is take risks and don't stay in your comfort zone. And learn from your mistakes, but also learn from other people. I was never afraid to ask a question. I didn't worry about sounding stupid. Well, what about this? I don't care. You know, you need to ask for help when help is needed. There's a lot of opportunities for, especially the kids, especially you guys today. When we were starting our businesses, our careers, we did not have all the tools that you have today. All the tools that you have today. I mean, a fax machine wasn't even invented then. I mean, we used to, for the first fax, it was, oh my God, did you get that piece of paper? Wow! Wow! Yeah. So what you have today is so many more opportunities. The other thing that I would recommend that you do, if you haven't done it already, is that program, the Shark's Tank. Have you ever seen that show?
Yeah.
And what is that? What do they ask you? What do you know about your business? What have you done as a research? What kind of marketing plan do you have? How much of the product you sold? And how much money are you asking for your shares? And it is, to me, it's, even though I've come this far, I always look at other things that are going on around me. I was minding my own business, and I was interviewed by a magazine or newspaper in Denver. Made the front page of the paper. And guess what? I get a call. I was asked to write a book. So I wrote a book. It was published on McGraw-Hill. Did I plan to write a book? No. But the opportunity presented itself, and I said, why not? Why not me? So again, there's a lot of stuff that you want to say, well, tomorrow I'm going to do this, next year I'm going to do that, I'm going to have a 5-year plan. There is no such thing. Sometimes you just have to go with the flow, and it is such a, loosely used term, but it's so true, especially today. Again, do not be afraid to take risks, and do not be afraid to move away from mom and dad and your friends in the neighborhood. Get out of the comfort zone and take risks.
I totally agree that when you want to start a business or a venture, whatever that is, you must have certain amount of passion. I think before you make that decision, I think it's not just like, I like to do this. Think about how far are you willing to take it? Can you visualize? How do you deliver the actual product? How do you deliver the actual service? And think about how much are you willing to give up in order to accomplish it. Now, not everyone is ready to start a business, but I think you don't have to start a business to be an entrepreneur. I think there's what I would consider it entrepreneur spirit. When you have a job, are you giving it all? Are you doing the best you could for that particular position? So if you constantly challenge yourself, you're going to find yourself, you'll build up the skill set, you're going to build up the confidence, and you're going to meet people, and then with people seeing you, gee, she really knows what she's doing. Opportunities would just somehow come to you. So I don't think, and I agree, you can't plan out everything, but when the opportunity knocks, are you ready to take it? Are you willing to take it? I think there's a certain common theme here. We work very long hours. We love what we do. We're willing to do whatever it takes to get it done. So you have to ask yourself, are you willing to do that? And if you're not willing to do that, maybe you're not ready.
One of the great fears in this whole entrepreneurial journey is failure. Looking at the vision, seeing something, thinking about it, and in that moment comes, what if it doesn't work? So I want you to reflect back a little and kind of when you were starting off, what was the big failure that you encountered, a consequential one that you had to wrestle with, and how did you kind of solve this? And what do you think allowed you to keep going after going through this experience of something not working or feeling that perhaps you yourself
bungee jumping. If you don't know if your gear is secure, of course you're afraid. So if you know you have to do something like that, how about make sure your gear is good? Make sure that the link is appropriate. You know, what I'm trying to say is, when you think of afraid of failing it, maybe because you're not prepared, you're not ready. If you want to start a business, how about don't go to dinner as often, save up some money. So plan on you don't have any cash flow for another 2 years. So if you have certain things that you plan ahead, there will be a time when you feel like, yep, I can afford to lose it all, then you might make that decision. So for people who want something, but they never change what they do, they'll never get there. Those are dreamers, but they only dreaming. And then 20, 30 years from now, they're going to say, yeah, I could have done that. I'm just as smart as the other guy. But I think everyone has that seed in them. They just need to decide what they want to do. I'm a strong advocate of personal responsibility. I think you are in control of your destiny with a little luck.
In my case, it was a lot of luck. But no, I agree with what you say when it comes to the fear of failure. And I'll be the first to admit that as I was going through the different stages in my career, the fear of failure was always there. But also that was the challenge. The challenge of, and I keep saying this, the why not me? That what does that person have that I don't have? Why is that person doing it and I can't do it? I will not settle for anything less than that. So I always challenge myself. It was never I didn't have the family business. I didn't have the family money. I didn't have. So I had to do everything on my own, and it was scary. And there were times that I would wake up in the middle of the night and say, what am I doing? And why am I doing it? But then I would get over that, and I'd go out in the morning and start all over again. When I first started selling Spanish television, I had no idea about sales. I had no clue. They gave me the yellow pages, the telephone yellow pages. They still have those, right? And they said, go to the yellow pages, look at the businesses, and go knock on their doors and sell them advertising. What? Are you kidding me? I was dying inside. I had the butterflies. The first sales call that I made, I'm telling you, if it had been taped, I would have been embarrassed because it was so bad. But every time I practiced, I got better. And pretty soon, the argument at that time was, if you knock on 10 businesses a day, maybe 2 will say yes. So by the end of the week, by the end of the month, look at all the advertising that you have on television. So even though I had the fear of failure, I did it again and again and again. The same thing happened when well, anyway, I won't go into that, but yeah, we all have the fear of failure. But we just have to have passion about what you want to do. And it's never going to be easy. You can't expect it to be easy. It's going to be challenging. It's hard work. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. It's worth it.
I guess my experience is the same, where I still have the evenings that I wake up at night and ask myself, holy crap, what I'm doing here, especially I'm on my 2nd year, haven't break even yet, and you just see that, like, the hole that you perceived that you created, right? So you go like, oh my gosh, how is that gonna work? And but what I have learned about fear is there is some healthy fear that there is certain fears that is just giving you insight. And you gotta be able to start to live with those fears, because there is fear that is totally made up in your mind. That is like a monster, that nagging voice. I call My nagging voice, I call her Betty. She's my Flavia Beach. So I tell Betty, hey Betty, shut up, you know. I'm not listening to you today. But then there is a regular fear that is just a warning sign. And for me, it was very important during this process, and it's still a learning curve. When is really Betty talking, like saying you're not good enough? Or when is fear just because there is a warning sign, there is something that you need to take action on it, and you're not taking action. And that's, for me, is my relationship with my own fear has been the biggest breakthrough. So, for instance, if my sales in my store is, sometimes I kind of know what it's supposed to be. If it's not there and I start to have fear, well, is it that fear just telling me that I need to do a better job on Twitter and Facebook? And maybe if I do that a couple of days, then my revenue is back, and you know. But if I just kept like just not understanding the anxieties and the fears, then it's really, if you ever want to know yourself, just open up a business. You're gonna learn all sort of facets about yourself. You're gonna learn that you have a Betty, you have a John, you have a bunch of
I just think that summarizing what they said, it's okay to lose, but it's not okay to lose the lesson. Do your lessons learned. Understand that it's okay to have fear and it's okay to lose, but don't lose the lesson from it. Don't let your ego take over and blame everything and anything around you instead of taking the lesson with you. Because I think that's where it's going to help you. And if you have a fear about negotiation, for example, or getting in front of a client, then look up to see where you can get those type of skill sets. I think a lot of entrepreneurs are great at chasing their dreams, but they haven't spent a whole lot of time for the heart of the business. You know, learning the skill sets. And there are tons of things out there that are not that expensive. It's not like going to UC Berkeley, which I always do because I get it reimbursed by my company. I go to UC Berkeley and I do take the classes, and they are very pricey, but you know what? I work 3 times as hard to make sure that I can get it approved so I can go there. But I know things like that exist other places as well without paying that much. So learn the art of business as well as chasing your passion.
My issue is trust. I have a tendency, I do my homework, I evaluate, I'm ready to go, and I trust partnerships and employees, and I have faith that it's going to turn out, and sometimes it doesn't. And I get really devastated, just like you were saying, and I want to give up. You know, it's like, why am I doing this? And you know, it's out of my league or whatever. It can be devastating when it impacts, you know, a lot of people, and or it's a budget issue. But I do what you said too. I always analyze it. I look, okay, what did I do wrong? Where was I? You know, it's not like somebody else's fault. It's like, you know, what is it that I can do next time to improve it? And you were talking about classes and courses. You know, there's the small business development centers. There's free online courses. There's the chambers. You can go to a lot of things around here. There's so many opportunities. So when something like that happens, I look and I say, okay, now what else do I have to take? You know, because I'm always learning. I'm always, you know, going to these different events, and I'm just trying to update my skills so that, you know, I'm